Welcome back to our YouTube channel, GossipWire. Wait until you hear what Camron just did. This isn't just beef, this is betrayal caught on camera. Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear might change how you see your favorite hip-hop stars forever. Has Ron just lit the internet on fire? Or is his release of a private film of Jim Jones making a stir on social media? What was once a private event is now witnessed by millions of people, including fans, celebrities, and insiders. The disturbing video, which depicts Jim in a highly personal and vulnerable situation, has stunned the hip-hop community. Many people are questioning Camron's actions. As the video goes viral, Jim Jones is compelled to reduce the harm, protect his reputation, and tell his side of the story. But this is more than just a video, it's about betrayal. Chrissy Lynn's husband is upset and ready to retaliate, claiming Camron has gone too far. Was this leap really an attempt to ruin Jim? Or is there anything else going on? Tensions are increasing, and the stakes are bigger, more than ever. Keep checking back for all the exciting information, as this drama is only getting started. Viewers were taken aback when the video became viral after it leaked. Within hours, the entire hip-hop scene was discussing it on social media. Camron was notorious for his unpredictable temperament, but no one could have expected this. Even worse, Jim Jones, once regarded as one of the most venerated people in the game, was suddenly involved in an unforeseen scandal. The film itself was shockingly authentic. Jim was acting utterly out of character, leading viewers to question if Camron had set him up or if it was a coincidence. As the video went viral, fans and celebrities both reacted on social media. While some were astonished and upset, while others utilized the opportunity to point out that Jim had always kept his personal life very private, it was suddenly made public. No one was exempt from the consequences of this breach, had undeniably far-reaching repercussions. Chrissy Lynn, Jim's lifelong companion, wasn't keeping quiet as the video progressed viral. The drama diva, known for her strong temper and intense love for Jim, Chrissy, was upset and took to she used Instagram to share her feelings. Her tweet simply helped to feed the flames, as followers rapidly crowded the comment section with viewpoints that either questioned or praised Chrissy's role in the incident. How dare you betray? We like this. There is no going back from this. Camron, you have passed the line. Some even suspected that Chrissy may have been concealing information from Camron. She may have been more knowledgeable than she acknowledged. This isn't what it seems like, and don't believe everything you hear. See. Despite this, it was clear that the damage had already occurred. Damage control could not undo the movie's influence. Jim was unhappy in private, according to those close to him. Camron's actions took him entirely by surprise. Jim never expected Camron to be so unfaithful to him after years of friendship. Although there had always been murmurs of friction between them, no one expected it to become so terrible. The hip-hop scene was ablaze with speculations that Camron had been carrying a grudge for a long time and that this video release was his way of finally seizing in command of the story. While June struggled to decide how to deal with the problem, other supporters saw it as a marketing gimmick intended to heighten tension and drama for both Camron and Jim. While some interpreted it as a personal betrayal with potential long-term but, hold on, because what happens next is even wilder. Another twist is coming that nobody saw coming. If you think this drama is over, think again. Effects on their relationship and careers. When the truth was disclosed, the story became more convoluted. Camron had posted the mysterious phrase, "The truth always comes out," on his personal Instagram account. The video continued, making news, and Jim Camron was under increasing pressure as a result. The release was not only a viral event, it was escalating into a full-fledged crisis. Jim wasn't only dealing with public disgrace, although he did not explicitly state that he was behind the leak. It was clear that he was hinting at his involvement. Most of his supporters expressed shock and disappointment in the message, while others defended Camron, claiming that there might be more to the tale than what was being revealed. And Chrissy wasn't going to back down in the face of potential consequences. This might have a big impact on his career, relationships, and legacy in the hip-hop community. In a series of angry posts, she made it obvious that she wasn't going to let this go unanswered, demanding answers from Camron. I asked him to explain why he chose to betray Jim in this way. Camron felt more pressure as the days passed, as more and more people began to wonder why he shared the film. Or was there something else going on behind the scenes? As the drama unfolded in real time, fans were caught up in a violent clash between two hip-hop giants, and everyone had comments on as the controversy spread. it became clear that it was merely the start of a much bigger narrative. What will happen next? Will Jim and Camron's friendship withstand this treachery, or is this the end of an era for the two hip-hop icons? Fans eagerly awaited the next twist in the plot, either to see how this drama would play over time, or because some were backing Jim, arguing that he didn't deserve this kind of treatment, while others were ready to call him out on his prior behavior and ask whether he was indeed as innocent as he seemed. The media went bananas, painstakingly analyzing every phrase and emoji to determine who Camron was truly targeting. Camron, ever the master of sparking outrage, teased fans with bits of information in a series of cryptic tweets and Instagram postings that further fuel the fire. In one, he posted a picture of himself in a meditative position. In another instance, he stated, "You can't trust everyone," who Camron left fans guessing whether he was referring to Jim or someone else. Fans were not persuaded. Therefore, many resorted to social media to express their disappointment with Jim Jones, who is doing his best to maintain cool in public by downplaying the issue. In a few interviews, claiming that the footage was complete. Chrissy, who was already saddened and frustrated by the entire incident, chose to escalate things later. Camron's postings. Do you think it's funny? Do you think that exposing Mize, treating a partner in this way a joke? She went from Jim's partner to a furious guardian who will stop at nothing. Nothing to justify their link. Her thoughts were genuine, and her comments struck a chord with her supporters. In a live Instagram video, she expressed her evident outrage. She wasn't about to let Camron seen by the live video. It went off without a reaction and quickly gained popularity. Camron had always been. She considered it a betrayal. At the moment, there was a split on the internet. Some praised Camron as a genius for crafting drama, while others condemned him for publicly shaming Jim, whom they thought had done nothing wrong. Hip-hop insiders widely debated the topic, with some speculating that Camron was jealous, attempting to undermine Jim's career by pointing out that Jim had created the disclosure from a source close to Camron. That he may. One of the most surprising events was Jim's inside knowledge of his personal life, which he used to his advantage. Camron was alleged to have been watching Jim's private affairs more carefully than anybody else knew, including information about his relationship with Chrissy. There had been reports of tension between Camron and Jim for years, whether they were personal or related to his music company. I suspected it was a long-held personal grudge, even while it was evident that things had been tight between them, since who had ever challenged his standing in the hip-hop. Camron was well known in the industry for his brazen words and daring acts. Some said it was a power play toward introducing him to the public eye. Jim remained mainly mute, making it impossible to judge his actual sentiments on the subject, and spoke up infrequently. However, it was evident that he was having trouble dealing with the consequences of the leak. Then comes the stunning revelation, a second video. The latest. The video provided extra context for the situation, but it was not as insightful as the original. The video shows Jim arguing with an anonymous individual was in a private environment, and the talk appeared to be intense. Some fans assumed that Camron was. Some regarded the second video as confirmation that more was going on behind the scenes, while others saw it as a deliberate attempt to continue the drama. Camron, on the other hand, was enjoying the drama. His social media presence reached an all-time high. His name was trending for several days as a result of the leak's media coverage. Fans were constantly on edge, waiting to see what he would do next. Some even seemed to wonder if the video release had exposed difficulties in their relationship. Camron was in charge of the game, not just a participant. Everyone asked the same question. What does Camron expect to gain from this? Did he desire retaliation, or was it just another fan eager to see how would Camron, Chrissy, and Jim react to this vicious game of power, allegiance, and betrayal? Who would prevail? And more importantly, would any of them get away with it? Fans. As the tension rose, some wondered if Jim Jones and Camron's romance was coming to an end. As the dispute progressed, only time will tell. But one thing was for certain. The leak had shown the complicated and occasionally stressful relations that occurred behind the scenes in the hip-hop business, resulting in considerably more than a simple controversy. Sources close to Camron indicated that the rapper had been resenting Jim for years, citing conflicts concerning music, personal concerns, and financial dealings. It was unclear whether the two could repair the harm caused by the spill. Firestorm. After years of building their careers and leaving their mark on the hip-hop business together, It appeared as if everything were disintegrating at an alarming rate. Rumors of unrest began to spread behind the scenes. Spread the film he had finished to shake things up and remind everyone who was in charge. Despite his once impeccable public image, the leaked footage had caused damage. And his relationship with Chrissy, who had always been described as one of hip-hop's most solid couples, had began to show evidence of frailty as a result of the video's drama. Nothing seemed to stop him from returning on track, and was always fiercely protective of Jim. As the weeks went, Jim began to speak more on the matter. In an open interview confessing that the consequences had harmed him, "I never thought Camron would go this far," Jim admitted in an expressive voice. "We've gone through so much together. We've been brothers." Chrissy, in her own courageous move, was asked during a live interview. She discussed the footage and her thoughts on Camron's conduct. Her response was, simply put, he went too far. Chrissy's comments resonated with many of his supporters, who he had long respected his commitment and determination. They recognized his anguish and wrath and felt terrible for him. However, there were still unresolved difficulties. These included the arguments for Camron's first decision to make the footage has been made public, as has the fallout. Many individuals backed Jim and Chrissy, while others thought Camron had drawn attention to a more urgent matter. Some admirers wondered if the release of the film was proof that Jim had been hiding something all along. Chrissy's revelation, that she will not tolerate this condition, surprised the media. She wasn't only defending Jim, she defended their relationship, the folks that stood by their family and reputation. Despite the commotion, Camron remained private, posting mysterious comments, making lighthearted fun of Jim, and only occasionally appearing on social media. He also alluded to there is a prospect of additional, more stunning revelations. This is only the beginning. When Camron fans were perplexed by his tweet, was there other footage? Were any more mysteries solved? The tension only grew as Camron portrayed the role. To put it simply, the disagreement seemed to have no end in sight. When Camron's close associates exposed the leak, things took an unexpected turn, even though they may have been part of a wider plot. Others suggested Camron was making a conscious attempt to influence the others, claimed that he was purposefully provoking Jim in order to create a media spectacle, regardless of the underlying intentions. Ron had elevated this drama to the level of a full-fledged production, and the audience was thoroughly enjoying it. Jim was growing more composed in the face of the public outcry, remained committed to his singing career and business endeavors. However, there were hints that the drama was affecting him more than he had admitted. According to the reports, Jimmy contacted friends and relatives for guidance on how to deal with the problem quietly, although he realized he had to find a solution to move forward from the challenge. He also realized that it would not be easy because trust had been broken and relationships had been damaged. The story wasn't finished because, though the video release had only served as a trigger for what was sure to be a long battle, the drama between Camron and Jim Jones were being keenly followed across the world. And the long-running feud between the two ex-friends appeared to be getting worse by the day. Fans were now divided, with some vehemently defending their favorite celebrity, Camron, while others defended Jim. They were glued to their seats, anxious to see how this great story would unfold. Will Jim Blotto recover his public profile? Or will the leak mean the end of his career? Despite their best efforts to reconcile, the two hip-hop icons appeared to have grown apart. Camron is mocking social media. Comments became more frequent, fueling and sustaining the dispute. Jim's supporters stuck to everything he said, stated as his supporters joined together in the aim of finding a solution. Meanwhile, Chrissy has begun acting on her own. She had always been extremely discreet about her personal life, but after the video leak, she couldn't keep quiet and began posting cryptic messages on social media, implying betrayal. She occasionally felt distant from those closest to her, can cause the most damage in a series of interviews. She made it clear that she would not let anyone drag Jim through the dirt without a struggle. "We created something great, and I refuse to let anyone destroy it." The statements were composed but resolute, and they only added to the drama's mounting intensity. One of her tweets read, conveying a clear message to Camron and everyone else may be watching. The public spectacles appeared to reach new heights. When Camron the matter was addressed immediately on Instagram Live. "Come on now," he remarked with a mocking tone. "You understood what was going on behind the scenes. You'd understand why I did what I did." "I did," he replied. "This is just the beginning." Believe me, there's a lot more to come. The video quickly went viral, attracting millions of viewers. He hinted at something even more surprising. He was saving his revelations till later. He stared at the camera with a cheeky smirk and his tone was acerbic, lighthearted. Jim and Chrissy were nervously anticipating what would happen next, and it was becoming difficult to ignore there is an increase of media uproar. With each new development, they understood the tension was rising and progress was being made. Harder. Jim has always been known for his strength, but this time was different. He was defending both his relationship with Chrissy and his reputation. The stolen film had wrecked Thea's sense of security in more ways than one, and as additional people became involved, the couple began to question whether their connections with Camron were as they remained as strong as before. When Jim and Chrissy were spotted together at a significant function, the issue took on another, unexpected turn. Despite keeping a low profile, the couple's appearance at the event made it plain to the public that they would not let the dispute wreck their relationship. As they posed for photographs, their grins disguised the stress behind the scenes. However, the problem was far from addressed. According to reports, Jim called Camron numerous times in an attempt to discuss the situation discreetly and fix it. But Camron had consistently disregarded Jim's calls, leaving him frustrated and powerless. Jim informed a close friend. He was surprised to discover that he is now playing games. The dispute seemed to spark his creativity, as his music was suddenly getting more attention than ever before. Some supporters even claimed that the video leak had revived him. He gained a new edge in his career. Despite this, he continued to record music and protosepublic barbs at Jim, repeatedly mentioning the video release in his lyrics, such as real, recognized real, but I guess I'm the only one still standing. Fans occasionally hoped for a reconciliation. Regardless of the emotions, one thing was certain. Camron was loving the attention, and Jim Jones was left reeling from his damage has occurred. Camron and Jim Jones were formerly brothers, united by their love of music and common experiences, yet it appeared that everything was disintegrating. Their conflict had turned personal, and the harm had already been done. Weeks passed, and both sides hurled literal and symbolic punches at each other. She expressed sadness that it had ended this way and hoped the two guys would reconcile. The two men have had a terrific deal together. However, as time passed and the chances of their reconciliation lessened, Camron demonstrated that he was hesitant to give up. While Jim pledged to never forget the deceit, the supporters were left in expectation and wondering what would happen next, and how their relationship would progress remained unknown because the drama appeared unpredictable. He had created a rift that may never be fixed, one that no one had ever seen before. It became increasingly evident that the video release had irreversibly changed the course of events as the two men tried to restore their broken friendship. Will Camron and Jim Jones ever reconcile? Or will their once famous collaboration come to an end? The drama between the two has shown that their quarrel is far from over. Chrissy, how about her? As the tension rises, will she support Jim or act independently? The supporters are asking themselves types of inquiries. I'd want to hear your thoughts. Did Camron go too far in disclosing Jim Jones' private footage, or do you think he was justified in telling the truth? Please leave your opinions in the comment area below. If you're enjoying the drama, be sure to subscribe to receive updates as they happen. You won't want to miss our next visit with even more fascinating stories. Following her, Rashida's reputation shifted after receiving an emotional message. While some admirers pied her, others chastised her for Rashida exposed to much of her children's and Kirk's private lives because she felt it was unjust to continue discussing their sufferings with the world. She focused on her recovery, which had become more difficult as the tension increased. Andy didn't give a damn what others thought. Kirk, on the other hand, had to confront reality. He had no idea how long and complicated his journey to atonement would be. It felt like he was regressing 2 steps for each one he took. He was dealing with his addiction and inner problems, but he was aware that his marriage was on the line. Despite his best attempts, Rashida became impatient in addition to his own recuperation. In the months that followed, Kirk faced new problems. Rashida experienced a variety of feelings. Despite Kirk's obvious commitment to improvement, their silence seemed to grow. Every day, the volume grows louder. As the public saw the emotional toll increase with each new news, the Frost family had to go through the most painful time of their lives. The future was unclear. Will Kirk return to Rashida at the end? Will treachery, addiction, and celebrity continue to harm their relationship. Time will tell. Rashida was now. She doubted her ability to sustain Kirk. His addiction was hurting them, and she was privately heartbroken about the future they had always envisioned. While her brain couldn't deny the harm Kirk's actions had caused, her heart desired to see him recover. During a period of contemplation, Rashida considered the unthinkable, leaving the guy she knew better. Every time she looked at him, she couldn't shake the feeling that they were drifting further apart. Though, the weight of those words felt like a burden now that she realized how far away they were. Despite her previous trust, they made promises to each other in both good and bad times. For better or worse, the concept of being known as her soulmate seemed weird and unsettling. During his recovery, Kirk began attending a new, more demanding the rehabilitation program prioritized holistic care. He was struggling to rebuild his